Hi guys, thanks so much for stopping by. So today I'm going to be talking about the NYX Professional Makeup HD Studio Photogenic Eyeshadow Base. So this is their eyeshadow primer, or one of them, because they actually have more than one of those, and I chose this one. So they actually have a Proof It eyeshadow primer, transparent. They also have the eyeshadow base, comes in 3 color and it's in a pot. They also have another one which is the black eyeshadow base. It's also in a pot. So they have 2 ones and 2 in a pot. The one that just says eyeshadow base, it comes in 3 colors. In white, skin tone, and white pearl. But today I'm going to be talking about the HD Studio version, and it is in the wand, and it looks like that. It has like a nude kind of color to it. Let me just put it on my hand so you can see it. There you go. It has like a flesh kind of color to it. It is creamy, and it feels a little bit more on the thicker side. And I'm gonna show you right now. It's not popping up in the camera, but from my end here, it does look like it's smoother, softer, just looks better. So it does look nice to that. I'm going to give you quick information that I've gathered, and then we go from there, okay? So it says NYX Professional Makeup High Definition Eyebrow, I'm dyslexic. Eyeshadow base evens out skin tone and smooths out lines. Perfect prep for true color and long-lasting eyeshadow. Be camera ready in an instant. Okay. I didn't see a big difference using this versus using foundation, especially if you're using a matte foundation on your eyelid. There's not a big difference. There's a slight difference in there. It is, it adds a little bit of smoothness, I suppose, when you put this on and then you put your eyeshadow on there. That's the difference that I've noticed. If you use a regular primer versus the eyeshadow primer, is there a phenomenal difference for this particular eyeshadow primer? Not a huge difference. There is a slight difference to me. The texture is a little bit more on the thicker side, but also a lot of primers can be on the thicker side, especially if it's a hydrating primer. It can be in a creamier side in the consistency. This one, it is a lot. It a little bit goes a long way. I'm sorry, I was just like I didn't even know what to say, because so it a little bit goes a long way, and it's not that, I don't know, it's when it's a little bit more on the wet side. I do let it just set and dry up for a few minutes. And when you put on eyeshadow, it is creamy and smooth and soft and all that stuff. However, I didn't really see a big difference if I just applied a regular primer for the face, if I used a hydrating foundation, or one of those foundations that are natural finish, hydrating, or radiant, or a dewy foundation, one of those. If anything that's not matte, if it is a matte and I don't use this one, there's a big difference. If it is a matte foundation and I put it on my eyelid, I do see a difference. If you put a matte foundation, what would happen is obviously it will dry out and it'll be powdery and it won't be smooth anymore when you apply your eyeshadow. So your eyeshadow can become kind of chalky and it separates and it'll be a little bit harder to apply. So this would be a difference for that if you're using a matte foundation. I have also noticed that it's not every single matte foundation that will do that. There are just certain ones. And if you don't put powder on top of your foundation before you apply your eyeshadow, it still glides in there fine, regardless if it is matte or any kind of formulation of foundation as well. So was this worth the $6.99? I don't think so. Number one, it still creases for me. The eyeshadow still creases, and that was the reason why I was purchasing a bunch of eyeshadow primers. This was the first in the line that I tested. So I tested this with all different kinds of foundation that I have. I tested this tea with different kinds of eyeshadow, drugstore as well as high-end. Different brands, different everything, different. Also, I also use different kinds of mascara just because it's in the eye area. This kind of did help a little bit on the creasing, very little. Like, for example, throughout the day, I'm using a specific eyeshadow brand that is drugstore because I am doing the drugstore makeup challenge and I am still wanting to finish that. I don't know when I'm gonna finish, but the journey has been pretty fun so far. Anyway, so when I would do that, it would crease, and I thought if I use this one, it might help. So from what I've noticed, if I just use a regular primer on it, it would crease, let's say, in 3 hours, right? Like a few hours. If I used a regular primer and then a foundation on top, it would probably give it a little bit more, longevity, a little bit, maybe half an hour to an hour. If I add powder on top before I put the eyeshadow and then I put another coat of powder, that will also give it a little bit more time, the longevity and the lifespan. With this, with all of those, with all of those, I added all those steps, and then I put the eyeshadow on, and then I put a layer of powder, and then of course I do a setting spray. This still will last a lot longer. Let's just say the maximum for all of those steps was 4 or 5 hours. This would probably last maybe 6-7 hours. This is a what if. Usually with the other steps, with the certain eyeshadow I was testing, it would probably last about 2 hours. With this, it lasted 3 hours. So it's not a significant difference. If I used a more long-lasting eyeshadow with all those steps, it would probably last me all day. So I was really more concerned on the eyeshadows that I was using that would only really last me about a couple hours before creasing. And so that's what I really, focused on this. And I gotta say, it didn't really stretch out the lifespan. Again, if it was lasting 2-3 hours, this would probably add an extra hour or two. But that's it. It's not all day, so I was really disappointed in that. But I was willing to overlook that, and I was willing to, just add a few more layers of products to help it even on top of this. However, the biggest con was I didn't realize until I bought that it had beeswax. Before I knew it had beeswax on there, I know that was my fault. Before I knew there had beeswax on there, I felt like every time I used this, my eyes were always kind of itchy at the end of the day. And it was always around the lash area. It wasn't on the eyelid that was itchy. There was no puffiness. There was no No rash, no, my skin wasn't swollen, there was no dermatitis yet, but I do believe if I did use this, for a longer span of time, longer than a month or two, I do believe I would get some kind of dermatitis. So that was the biggest con for me. I just kind of thought this was an okay product. It wasn't really phenomenal that it will make your eyeshadow last for 10-12 hours. I was looking for something like that, especially when you are using certain eyeshadows, and I'm testing a lot of eyeshadows, and especially when they're drugstore, and a lot of them, they just don't have the lasting power so far that I've tested. But I'm still looking for that eyeshadow that will replace luxury version. So I'm still looking for that. So I do recommend this if you don't have any beeswax allergies and you want to extend it a little bit more and then play around with it, what would work with your eyes, because everybody's different, and my eyelids were as always kind of a little bit greasy, and I always put eye cream on there because I don't want it to be dry, and when it's dry it's itchy, and so I always moisturize it, and that could also be leading to it to making it greasy. So if you are one of those people that have super like phenomenal skin on your eyes, that when you put something on there like eyeshadow and eyeshadow primer, you don't have any beeswax allergies, maybe this will work for you, and maybe this will be really great for you. For me though, someone with a beeswax allergy, just so you know, after only using this for a few days to maximum a week every day, my eyelids were starting to get really itchy every night. Every single night. Was it swollen? It didn't really reach to that. It's just at a certain point after about a month or two, I just decided to stop using it because the extra hour or two that this gave me wasn't really enough for me. I felt like, and I did add on, I've tried this on top of foundation, on top of regular primer, foundation. I put powder on top, I put this on, and then I put the eyeshadow, and then I put powder again and a setting spray, and it still does crease several hours after applying it. So that was a bummer for me. I was really kind of hoping, even with just this, without any other product, that this would be able to have the perfect eyeshadow look. Like it just got placed there and it's fresh and it's beautiful and perfect. But that didn't really work out for me. So I still do recommend it. I would say from 1 out of 5 stars, I would give this a 2. Because it did stretch out the lifespan of my eyeshadow on my eyelids. However, it has beeswax in there, and a lot of people, even though it's unbeknownst to them, they might be allergic to beeswax. Beeswax is a product that actually more people are allergic to than they realize, because it's not like right away you get dermatitis. It's one of those things that it's not a huge amount, and because it's not a huge amount, it just kind of sits there in your skin, and the more you use it, the longer you use it, and a certain point, like it might take 6 months to a year, then you get the dermatitis. That happens to me too. So that's why I'm giving it a 2 for that. And also it really didn't extend the lifespan of my eyeshadow, and I was really hoping for that. So I'm still in search for that drugstore eyelid or eyeshadow base or primer that would actually make the eyeshadow that I do put on in the morning last to really late at night. That's what I'm still looking for. And if you guys have any suggestions on those products, drugstore only for now, beeswax free, please, let me know down below. I would love to test those products, but for now I do have some of them that I am working with, and I'm doing that. But you know, I'm always welcome to suggestions. If you guys have any comments, you agree, disagree, you have questions or you just want to say hi, let me know down below in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys all the time. Don't forget to check out the description box because there's always goodies for you guys as much as I can when I contact companies and get their coupon codes, discount codes, all that good stuff. So just check that down below all the time in all my videos. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell so you'll be notified whenever I do upload a new video. Don't forget to expand the description box because as much as possible, I always try to get coupons for you guys, discount codes, and other goodies like that. I also have my Twitter information, Instagram, Snapchat, and for business inquiries, I have my email there as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.